Hello, BookTube. Mad Mystical Monk here. Last few days, I've been reading a book. It's kind of heavy, it's kind of dark, and it's kind of like, what is this? It is a copy of First Enoch. It says it's a fresh translation of an important ancient text. It was written by George W.E. Nicholsburg. He's a professor of religion at the University of Iowa, and James C. Vanderkam, and he is a professor of Hebrew Scriptures at the University of Notre Dame. I've read like 3 or 4 different translations. This one's okay. This is pretty much the commentary of what happened before and during the days of Noah in the Bible, because in the Bible it says, as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be, or something similar to that. For instance, a few chapters are the judgment and anticipation, the mountain of the dead, the secrets the watchers reveal, which was such things as the instruments of war, how women make jewelry, astrology, the signs of lightning bolts, stars, shooting stars, Earth, Sun, and Moon. So they pretty much taught me how to make weapons and kill each other. Technology advanced when these guys, the Watchers, fell from Earth. Fell from heaven, and well, they didn't fall if they came down willingly, right? I'm kind of the opinion when I was reading this, that's like the Bible's an abridged version of the sacred texts. Yeah, it seems to be pretty much what's going on there, because a lot of the books that I've realize that the apostles quote aren't in the Bible, like for instance this one, as well as the book of Jubilees, etc., etc. It says the rebellion of the Watchers, fallen angels. They taught mankind sorcery, charms, medicine, weapons, smithing, how to make makeup, astronomy, astrology, and geology. And I think one of the major issues, I just cut my head off. One of the major issues was the fact that the sons of the Watchers became pretty much cannibals. They may have been half-breeds, for use of a better word, half human, half angel, but they ended up eating pretty much every part of any kind of meat and every kind of meat they could get a hold of. Yeah, it's kind of gross, but it says that there was a plague ravaging the world at the time of the days of Noah, and that the majority of the flesh was either corrupted or gone. I guess in some ways this book kind of gives you an example of why there isn't dinosaurs, I guess, if that's your cup of tea. The really bad part was, I think, which would really have sucked if I was in Enoch's shoes, was when God said, hey, I need you to go tell these angels they're pretty much in big trouble and they have no chance of ever getting back in the gates of heaven. And then you got these fallen angels like, well, Enoch, go before God and ask us give us some help. I forget what the word they used, but it was like, come help us, Enoch, to get back into God's good graces. Well, that didn't happen. And my speech teacher would smack me for that one. And it says that the populated mankind to the point of extinction, and God commissioned 4 angels, Sariel, and he pretty much told Noah to go hide yourself. So all that, yeah. It was an attempted loophole. Man would die, but Nephilim wouldn't, because their fathers were from where. God's like, we got to put an end to this real quick. As I read the book, I had a feeling of dread, and I probably should quit reading this. For it's not in the book, but from some of my studies, Enoch became the archangel Metatron, which is the scribe of God. The Watchers got to the point where they were actually covering their faces. I don't even remember why I wrote that down, but I had. Angels don't die. This is the simplified version. Angels don't die. What need have you for children? That's pretty much what God said, I think. Angels are immortal. They have no need to propagate. And then it says the spirits of the angels assumed many forms. God pretty much cursed the angels, the humans that collaborated with them and made love with them, or whatever word you want to use, and their children. He's like, y'all going, all three of y'all. And the bad part is God was like, well, time for the archangels to do some business. And then there was this odd part I read. It said the behemoth, the behemoth, and the Leviathan were once one organism, split into two parts. I'm sorry, I've struggled to pronounce it. The behemoth became a desert animal or beast, and the Leviathan became an oceanic animal in the deeps, the foundations of the deeps, which I thought was cool that they found a giant ocean underneath the ocean, which kind of sums it up, because if you're familiar with your scriptures, then that's exactly what it would speculate. The fountains of the deep exploded and flooded the earth. So, all right, and that the behemoth and the Leviathan would be the food for the righteous. I know in a lot of heads we're thinking hippopotamus, crocodile, and I'm thinking this stuff probably would be pretty gross to eat, but I'm probably not along them lines. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Share my videos. Share the message of First Enoch. Alright. Signing off.